Hey, Barflies. Shayne and I are listening in on Phil and his wife talking. I think Phil can hear us.
I'm not hearing.
I think Phil can hear us, but
I'm laughing because I can hear them talking, but I can't hear them.
His wife can't hear us. So
No,
let's listen.
But I'm sure Aldo's recording.
We're not listening.
That's why I'm laughing.
We're laughing about Phil's small dick.
8 inches, yeah, right.
They're going to come at 9. Around 9, I said the casserole, the French toast, I'll make that.
Wow.
They have an orgy?
Then we can all go to
It's
the
an orgy?
together.
It sounds like a delicious orgy. French toast and casserole.
Anyway.
Man.
Are you recording here?
Right here. Oh, yeah. Just don't be typing like Aldo while I'm talking on a podcast.
Oh, yeah, you heard that, huh?
Look at him laying down the rules. God.
Now that he's a star, he wants a trailer. He wants that R. Kelly girls to piss on.
Boys were great tonight.
They were?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Devin goes, I want the anthem. I want the anthem.
What have you done to this kid?
Yeah. This kid never wants anything. All of a sudden he wants to hear the anthem by John Fox.
Step aside, Barney.
He tried to make me smile. I think that this kid was manipulating the system.
Oh, they know how to work it.
3.5, Shayne?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, they know, man.
Hell yeah.
I'm like,
hell yeah.
It's time for bed. That's it then. No, I want the anthem. I honestly took everything not in my heart not to crack up laughing.
He knows
you're serious.
He knows your soft spot, Phil.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right?
So I had to play it for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's Daddy's song. I got to listen to myself for the 2,500th time.
Oh, I think I'm at the 100 mark.
Oh, you got to be past that. I know. You got that shit on repeat on the way to work. The window's down. It's 25 degrees out.
I did listen to the new song on the way to work.
Can't you see Phil with the windows down, Aldo? This is me.
No,
this is me.
No. If anything, I'm the opposite. If someone wants to hear it.
You're so modest. Yeah, you could have fooled me.
Listen, without me, there is no fucking show.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. It started already.
This is going to be... Our team fucking blows. But this...
Phil, you got to stay away from that microphone, man. It's not a cock.
Listen, I'm not even... I did lean into...
You did it twice already, though.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I get too close to the thing, it
overmodulates.
fumbles.
Yeah. Just keep your...
We are now testing this out for proper modulation.
Yeah, proper modulation.
You guys want to talk about anything in particular or just wing it like we always do?
When is this guy getting a script for us, Shayne?
Who needs a script?
I gotta go back to Shayne's remarks every week. Fucking John Buffon gets a fucking $1 million deal. We get Phil's tracks.
Keep it clean, kids. Grab your shit.
Touch your dick. I'm like, did he just say this is rated for everybody? And the first line out the gate is, grab your shit.
Hey,
I was dying when I heard that. It's probably played 15 times at this point. I'm like, Jesus, I didn't even realize that.
I could see Mike D in Atlanta is like, these guys are fucking playing me now. He said it was safe for everybody. I got my whole family of 7 kids in the car.
Dustin and I were just DMing about that last night because I said Mike D wanted the clean version of the anthem so he could play it for his daughters, and I have my 6-year-old son on there saying "fuck John Fox."
Fuck young fucks.
Yeah, Mama Aldo, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Young fucks.
My brother, who is definitely way past crazier than I am, he's telling her, okay, now flash the camera. Show him her tits.
Like mother, like son, apparently.
And I tell my mom,
Mr.
no,
Nipples.
I want people to watch. Don't do that.
Oh, man, that's great. That would be funny as hell.
You guys want to get started? Because Shayne's got a, 4 a.m. call tomorrow?
I thought we started.
Oh, sort of.
Yeah, you were talking about 2 minutes, and Steph is like, yeah, he's going to come early and going to rub friggin' waffles all over it. I'm like, Aldo, what the fuck are they talking about?
You said it was
Our Thanksgiving plan.
Oh, nice. Good stuff, the turkey.
Parents.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
stuff
God.
the turkey. Who's bringing stuffing? Steph's teaching little Spanish kids sign giving.
All right, let's get started.
Grab your shit.
Touch it.
Here we go. Testing. Help! 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 Listener discretion is advised. It gets really, really wild in here. Really wild. Keep the kids away. Help!
Is there anything you want to make sure I say, Shayne?
I don't know, dude. There's so much shit to talk about. Holy fuck.
It's like a fucking Broadway play script.
Whenever I see someone as fucked up as John Fox, and I'm not just talking about his cigarette voice box, my inner demon says to me, punch someone till they start to bleed. And since Hallis Hall doesn't give two fucks, the barflies and I know how bad he sucks. We know exactly what the Bears need. And finally we turned a new page, which is why we're gonna take center stage. We're not worried, we're determined to succeed. Follow our lead. And yes, indeed, that fucking Fox is unpopular. Indeed, Fox is unpopular. We're headed to ESPN to play Phil's song and hope to have a barfly throng. Cause we're not taking this shit anymore. We don't even give a fuck about how awful this song is.
Leave it at that.
Cheers, Bears fans! This is Bears 100 Proof, and we are recording on the eve of our downtown Chicago Fire John Fox rally outside the studios of ESPN at 190 North State. We are congregating at 1:45 p.m. And on this show, for the next however many minutes, we're going to talk about that, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about whatever comes to mind. And I've got to tell one particular follower of ours who was on Twitter saying, I'm thinking about not listening to you guys anymore because you're always talking about firing John Fox. Well, if you're listening right now, brother, you might want to just turn this off because we're going to do a lot of anti-John Fox talking. By the way, my name is Aldo Gandia, but don't you worry. I just take your orders and serve the drinks. The real stars of this nightclub are here, and they are, of course, Draft Dr. Phil Ottochian and Shayne, the smartest man in the barroom, Marsaw. Fellas, I had to do it. I know I can't sing, I know I can't act, I know I can't dance, but I had to perform unpopular because I knew you guys wouldn't do it. So how you guys doing? Oh, man.
Dude, that was great. Great job with the intro. You gave me
Yeah,
right
let's just
out
let
the
the
gate left.
let's let the barflies know that that's not the new song that we're going to be unveiling tonight. So you guys stay tuned.
Yes,
A world premiere.
Yeah, the reason I did that is because now Phil's song sounds so much better. It's strategy, man.
No
It's
joke,
strategy.
Aldo. I was honestly gonna, if you came to me second, as you normally do, obviously this is kill
Hey,
the
you
man
got-
with the mic right now.
You got a streak going, man. You got it last week. He went to you first last week.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. He broke the streak. The Packers beat the shit out of the Bears. And
We're going back to
here
Shayne.
we are. We better go back to Shayne.
Oh, I just got a little breaking news text. Aldo's mom just texted me and told me to slap her son. So
The virtual slap. I was honestly going to
Jan Fox.
lead in. I was going to lead in and say
Jan Fox.
and sing a song, Aldo. I
You
was going
were?
to sing. Yeah, I swear to God.
What were you
Gonna
going to sing?
Can Fox feel the love tonight? I was just gonna throw that out there because the city of Chicago seems to be burning red fox for dinner in every household. It's not a pretty sight, and I think most of the barflies are stepping up. I know Aldo referred to one just being a negative Nancy. I won't tell you what somebody else called that kind of attitude, but I will say that, we're not here to cause any trouble. What's the rest of it, Aldo?
We're
just here to do the Super Bowl show. So we might as well live in the 80s again and just keep continuing this joke and this facade of being fearful of a head coach that has a personality and speaks his mind and tells it exactly the way it is that he would speak to his men in the locker room. We're afraid of that. We don't want that. So we got a lying ass pussy as a fucking head coach that's so arrogant towards his fan base. The thing that pays the bills that got him his job. He's not thankful or grateful. So really, ultimately, this genius act by Aldo Gandia to gather the pitchforks and the torches and your mouths and stand up off those hands and get out there and join Aldo, who will buy the first round afterwards.
Yep.
So you're getting a free drink to go do something that is going to better this franchise and really put pressure on these people. Don't take it, and let's really stand up for the truth.
I think I'm going to also bring my mother, wheel her out in the wheelchair. and maybe she'll press her nipple up against the ESPN glass. Mom will do anything for me. All right. Hey, Shayne, did you notice how he just hijacked that first question? He just said, "I'm not gonna wait for." I
just took it over.
Yeah, stepped up in the pocket and ran downfield for a first down. All right, before we start talking football, I want to make sure that everybody knows that we are debuting Draft Dr. Phil's new song tonight. It is not what the trash that you heard at the beginning of the show. It is a brand new song dedicated to 100 Proof and everything that we're doing here, and we're going to save that for the tail end of the show. But let's talk some football first. Guys, let's talk a little bit about some of the things we did not cover yesterday on Bears Hour Live. I mean, there was so much about that Packer game that was, it was fascinating in a morbid way. It was like watching a franchise implode. That's the way I saw it. Because really, as that game wore on and it became apparent in the middle of the first half, the Bears are not going to win this game. And it became apparent to me that this could be one of the darkest moments in the history of the franchise. You got John Fox, who has been here 3 years. He cannot beat the Green Bay Packers without Aaron Rodgers. at Soldier Field. After the national media is starting to sing praises, Las Vegas has them on top, all this stuff, and they weren't going to win. You just knew it in that first half. It was pretty pathetic. I want to start right away with a question that Isaiah Robles has for the gang. He says, which player would you bench after the first game? I guess that would probably be your bear down, he writes. But I think that's a really good question because, we're blaming John Fox for everything, and he deserves, for not firing up the players, for having a stupid game plan. He deserves that, all those criticisms. But is there one particular player, I'll start with you, Shayne, is there one particular player that you would single out and say, boy, I don't even know I would want to suit this player up?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy, and I think my partner in crime over there is thinking of the same exact person I am, and it's somebody that hasn't played too much this year and has been a pretty underwhelming third-round draft pick, and that's Hijinks Grisou.
Yeah.
You bring in this third rounder. He was the best part of his game collegiately. He was never an overpowering guy. He was a center that could move and had agility. And the injuries have seemed to deplete all of that. And I know the Bears needed him to bulk up. And it's just at this point, Phil has talked about it multiple times. He's not even worthy of a roster spot. I mean, you can go to the fullback, Michael Burton, and
he's taking all my answers.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Take a back seat. And next, I'd like to talk about Josh Bellamy. So Phil's got nobody to talk about. But
he's the smartest man in the barroom.
That's that.
And
a mailman by day.
But yeah, it's painfully obvious. I mean, Phil posted the very first play of the game, and I'm no offensive lineman expert, admittedly. It's not something that I focus a whole lot on, but it's even if you don't focus on offensive line play, it's very easy to see that Hijinks Grisou doesn't belong on an NFL field. He gets overpowered. He's got little to no technique, and just talking about the fundamentals of football again, they're just not there. Sometimes he's just running and not doing anything, and it's really hard to see when you're talking about not a high round pick, but a third rounder. A third rounder should come in, especially on the offensive line, and start for you. Yes, the injuries have been a factor there, but right now supposedly he's healthy, and he looks like a CFL talent rather than an NFL talent.
Phil, you got your phone on power, right? You got it plugged in?
I'm pulling off the plug. Sorry, I forgot.
He's gonna pull out.
How does that sound? Better?
You got 4 kids. It's too late.
Pull.
I mean, are you allowed to pull out, or you stay in? I know Shayne is like. Hila puts the handcuffs on him. It keeps him in. She wants those babies.
She does, wearing me out.
Yeah. So Shayne, you haven't masturbated
Did you
in
hear
how long?
his voice on that one? She's wearing me out.
Shayne, you haven't masturbated in how long?
Probably at least 48 hours.
Into a cup.
Come on, I'm a man, Aldo.
Yeah. He's a man. I hunt.
That's right. Just don't do it at the post office, all right?
Yeah. Oh, well, how do you?
Jeez.
That's why those stamps are self-stick. Little secret there for everybody.
All right, Phil. Who are you benching? Anybody left on that roster that Shayne hasn't covered?
Well, I tweeted it out, and Shayne just hit all three of them out of the park. Bellamy, Grisou, and the kid Burton. I mean, if you're going to be a fullback in the NFL, you better be a Corey Schlesinger type. What was the kid from Green Bay? For years, he always
Kuhn.
Well, anyway, yeah, John Kuhn. Yeah. You got to be a guy that's physical at the point of attack, gets on a backer in the hole or a yard deep. This kid's making contact behind the line of scrimmage, just, what do we call it? Just blocking. He's just picking a side and getting in the way. That's not a fullback. Put people on the ground. I know Olin Kreutz is new on Twitter putting up film, and there's all these guys putting up film, but you look at the whole picture of these players. I try to do that and then put up the wars, because there's nothing really to go back to and say, well, it was great on 70 plays, but he was only bad on one. This kid Burton's the opposite. He's terrible on 80% of the downs, and then a one play he does the right thing. That consistency and lack thereof is so frustrating when you're talking about the fullback position. And there's been fullbacks here in Chicago that have been helps in the offensive system. But this kid, to me, is a detriment to it. I just, I shake my head at Bellamy. We talked about it the other night. But let me just say this again. Josh Bellamy is nothing more than a special teamer. Maybe could be a free safety in the NFL, and a damn good one at it, because I don't think he's afraid of contact. And if he really worked at that, I think that would be what I would do. But him as a wide receiver, his hands are so inconsistent. It's not one drop, guys. It's continuously. When the ball's in the air, as Shayne is joking about Connor Barth, is anybody confident? I mean, if you look yourself in the mirror truthfully, because there's a cult of Josh Bellamy followers. Remember that old rock band, Color? What was In Living Color, Aldo?
That was a TV show, wasn't it?
Yeah, In Living Color was a TV show.
It weren't the Living Color. It was a all black rock band.
Don't know.
The cult of personality. There's a cult of Josh Bellamy. I might have to cover it for that so everyone knows. They're out there defending this guy's performance and his roster spot, what he brings to the table. No, what he brings to the table is inconsistency. And there's always one ballad of truth that I always, if I was at a coach's clinic or if I was speaking somewhere at a football thing, an event, I always said this, and I'm going to take you into my note, because I always held on to this one little factor. If you're a parent and your son is performing inconsistently on the football field, do you think that the head coach should consistently put him back out there for him to perhaps embarrass himself and the team? That's my responsibility as a coach. So getting parents and other coaches to understand why high school or college football, you play the best. Not everybody's going to play at this level. So when you look at Josh Bellamy, and this is a professional franchise, the inconsistency on the hands, if you were his father, would you want him to continue to be pressed out there and be a brunt of jokes? Just looking at it in that vein, it's just so simple to see that this kid should not be playing. But to bring back to Bears 100 proof a week and a half, 2 weeks ago even, here's Trey McBride showing out against the Saints, showing out against Minnesota, his first time out there. Here he's giving you consistent, getting better and improving. And wouldn't you think that the Chicago Bears then turn away from that? Dowell Loggins' history says that. We could get that audio back. It's there. And it's exactly what they did, as Shayne and I were talking about last night on Bears Hour Live. How does that even occur? Like, it's so mind-boggling. And then you have the inconsistency with Josh Bellamy and the challenges. So he's just somebody, and Grasu is the other one, as Shayne said. It's just obvious he's overmatched, overwhelmed. He's got no technique. I love the offensive line. I can tell you right now, no offensive line coach has ever came at me on Twitter or anywhere.
We are now testing this out for proper modulation.
To correct what I'm telling you is going on. And when you watch your center of all people, who's got his head down or up facing a defensive lineman and snapping a football is a very difficult task if you look at it through physics. That he's got to snap the ball to the quarterback and then reach and push wherever side he's got to go. He's got to be a force. What is the one thing you can't do in football as an offensive lineman is stand straight up. And if you watch him, this is the NFL football player being coached by NFL coaches. And that is happening. And against your rival after you've decided to, how do you move Cody Whitehair? You should be fired just for that. It's just disgusting what they're doing to that kid. We got to talk about that. But to allow that on tape that I saw and we talked about and Shayne saw and you saw and Lauren Cox at the time saw, that this kid was going to be a detriment if they started him opening day and they made other arrangements. Well, Sowell should have been in at guard. And that's how you should have went and kept White here at center and sit in that guard and handle your offense like that, because it affected the whole ability to run the football and do what you do best. And those three players are hindering you. It's time for them to go.
Yeah, you said a lot there, a lot to respond to, and I agree with a lot of your points there. Shayne, do you want to pick anything from what Phil just shared and disagree? Because that way we can get some fireworks going on.
Honestly, there's not too much that I can disagree with him on. I would like to add a couple of more points that just play off the entire Bellamy drama. Really, at this point, they brought up Tanner Gentry, and if you look at the snaps when he was up, he was technically your number one wideout. And then they just completely go away from him. And I know he didn't really make any plays, obviously, but you got to question the entire thought process. Trey McBride, they bring him up, they put him back down, they bring him back up. The kid makes a step. I don't want to say he broke out versus New Orleans, but he showed signs, and he's a 24, 25-year-old kid, showed signs that, hey, maybe we can stack together another game here going into Green Bay. And what's the Bears' answer? He gets 2 snaps. You go out and you invest in a guy like Marcus Wheaton and give him $6 million guaranteed over 2 years. We've all been waiting for him to do anything. Well, he dresses, he comes back. And I think officially they gave him 0 snaps, but he actually was on the field for 1. And Josh Bellamy over the last 4 games gets 14 total snaps. For the last 4 games previous to Green Bay, gets 14 total snaps at wide receiver. And yet, going into Green Bay, he's the focal point of your passing offense. There's just no – and I mean, Bellamy's got, I think he's 28 years old, going to be 29 in 2018. He's got, just like Phil said, he's a special teams guy. That's his future, and that's his ceiling as an NFL player. And we're talking about a 3-6 ball club, and right now Josh Bellamy, the emerging Dontrell Inman is going to be our number 1 wide receiver, but there's no reason in the world that Bellamy is eating up crucial snaps at wide receiver when you have Mitch Trubisky back there. If you're going to be going through the growing pains on your offense, go through the growing pains with players that have upside. And Josh Bellamy, yes, he can get open. That's fantastic. You have to catch the football. And just like Phil said, we've seen it over and over and over again. That's a huge issue with Josh Bellamy. Even on that touchdown pass versus Green Bay that he caught, if he hadn't made a football move, that was going to get taken off the board. He couldn't even hold on to the football there. Yeah, I was actually scared of that for a split second.
Yeah, I was afraid that they were going to call that back too. In fact, who knows what an NFL catch is nowadays, but I looked at that and said, wow, I'm surprised they didn't even take a closer look at that. And
if they challenged it, Aldo, I think there's a 70% chance they would have screwed us over again.
I think so.
And
I think
we'd
so.
have to write a Bellamy song. I can't just put them in a lyric.
But it just, like I said, if you're gonna take your lumps, take them with the young guys that are going to be here, and who knows? Obviously, for whatever reason, this staff isn't high on Trey McBride, and who knows what happened? Maybe something happened behind the scenes, but it's typical Chicago. Unfortunately, you see a guy go out there and make strides, and Phil, called a shot with it. The kid's going to go out there and ball out, really probably have the best game of his career. And how is he rewarded? He's rewarded with the bench. It's baffling. And we're not even getting into, Tariq Cohen, his snaps going down and down and down, and the only reason they're not getting the ball to him because he's getting double teamed. I mean, that's brilliant fucking analysis in itself. But
insane in the membrane, insane in the brain.
Phil's bringing his own drops.
Insane in the membrane. Exactly.
Zeke asked
I'm helping you out, Aldo.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Zeke asked the question if there's anything that I saw at the game that you guys perhaps didn't see on TV, and I was actually going to bring up the Josh Bellamy. He does get open. I spotted 3 or 4 times where he was open and Mitch didn't spot him, and including that, I think it was the Bears' first drive. It was 3rd down and 14, and Josh was open between the safeties and the linebackers for the first down, but Mitch chose to check it down to Adam Shayne, and he was short of the first down. I know that, we all hate Josh Bellamy. He's unreliable and stuff, but man, there is something to be said about a guy that gets open. But I hear what you're saying, Shayne. I would make the same decision you're advocating for, which is to bench Josh Bellamy. But it leads me to my question. I'd like both of you guys to each evaluate the play of Mitch Trubisky to this point. Statistically, it was probably his best game, but what are you seeing that you're seeing in terms of improvements, and what are you seeing about things that still concern you, if anything? Phil, why don't you begin?
Yeah, there are some things first, because I'm going to end on a positive, that are concerning, and it's, it has to do with being what we talked about, and I hate to keep referring to Bears Hour Live, but one of our shows there, we talked about the handcuffs that they placed on him seem to be addressed not only in personnel, but also in formation and play selection. Your whole job as an offensive coordinator is to help a young passer gain confidence, improve, build on their natural traits, and then build on the things they need to improve upon, and challenge them in certain cases that aren't going to stress you helping the football team as a whole. And when I look at this player, it's only his 5th game. So there's no concerns whatsoever for me, only in his mental makeup as far as timing and decision making are concerned in this last game. He seemed nervous and unwilling to play ball, so to speak. The guy that took off and ran, the guy that threw the interception against the Saints and made the wrong decision is overthinking. And that is because your head coach isn't saying, don't worry about it. You're getting better every day. You got to shake those off. You got to make plays for us. You're the man. You're the reason. Come on. Build up that young buck's confidence. Don't handcuff him. And I think you could see it. I think if you have eyes and know this game, even just from Madden football on your, PlayStation or Xbox, you know that this young quarterback is being handcuffed. And that really is not the avenue that this kid should take. You can't be afraid to lose and play that game. because winners want to win. There's a natural trait that you saw in Deshaun Watson that he's going to will a win. He's going to get up time and again. It's the reason why Shayne loves Rocky IV so much. Balboa keeps getting up. We all understand it. And I believe that you have to let this young kid take his lumps, Aldo, and really go through it and throw the ball downfield to his liking. Move the pocket. Don't just run dash. Run a waggle like you saw with Shayne. Get him on the outside on the bootleg. Block down. Load block on the outside edge guy. If they're going to game plan to take away that boot, then block that outside edge guy and run a 3-man route out there. But get him.
We are now testing this out for proper modulation.
And get him running. It's absolutely ridiculous that you can't do it. So I don't understand where the negativity from the fan base is. I think the numbers are telling a bit of the story. Aldo was there to witness it. Yes, he missed some throws. His accuracy isn't where I saw it and thought it should be, and I think that stems from this offensive coordinator and the play calling, because once you build a player's confidence, give him short screens and slants, 3-step game, make him read coverages, make it easy for him, the sky is the limit for this kid's talent. Everybody's talking about the ridiculousness of the staff for a reason. We've been talking about that since August for a reason, or 2016 for a reason. This can't continue to happen, and I'm not concerned about Mitchell. I'm concerned of the mental state that he's in, worrying about making a mistake instead of just playing. And I believe, your kid down the street, his parents taught him that. You're not born a racist. You learn it. The kid is not, he's a football player. He's a gunslinger. You're trying to teach him to be afraid, and we can't do that. He is what he is. Let's build on that. And that's what this staff is doing, hindering this football player.
There's no doubt in my mind that that's exactly what's happening, that they're asking him to be so cautious and not turn the ball over so much that it might be regressing his talents and his progress as opposed to moving it forward. Shayne, you really are a Rocky fan, huh?
I am. I got to admit it. I know a lot of people think they're trash, but huge Rocky IV fan. If people don't like it, grab your shit. Play it, Aldo.
Yeah, I can see Shayne jumping rope.
Running down the streets of Philly, giving the finger to all the Eagles fans.
I only have to run about a mile down the road to do that, Aldo. My entire family's Eagles fans, fuckers.
That's hilarious.
I can see him delivering the mail to this song.
Yeah.
God, Shayne.
All right, Shayne.
Sign this package, lady.
Adrian, sign the package.
We are now testing this out for proper modulation.
All right, Shayne, give me your analysis of Mitchell Trubisky. Are you? I'm sure you have the same concerns that Phil does, but anything else that you can think of that might be a concern or is giving you hope for his progress?
Yeah, Phil put it good, and the thing that bothers me the most is, you guys heard me refer to it way back when they brought him in versus Denver, and it was like must-see TV, and you get up on the edge of your seat, and you can feel it now. To me, when you see Mitch, he's lost a little bit of that confidence because to me, I think he knows that this offensive coaching staff that he is relying on for his development at the NFL level, I think he realizes that they're dead men walking. And
he realizes they're overwhelmed too.
Yeah, and just you
just
talk
look
about
at the Fox excuses, Shayne. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah,
well, we don't have our Pro Bowl guard. We don't have this. We lost our tight end.
Yeah, and the one saving grace for me with the confidence, and I'm not saying that he's lost all confidence, and yes, obviously he's been neutered, and I can just see John Fox drilling into Mitch's head, 57 times every single day. You cannot turn the ball over. You cannot turn the ball over. But we saw him take that deep shot to Bellamy. Yes, Bellamy was open, but if he was completely neutered and his confidence was shot, I don't think we see him make that pass to take that deep shot. And it's just, within the pocket, he's mobile, but at this point you can just see, I think I think he's lost some of that confidence. And, Aldo, you talked about Josh Bellamy getting open repeatedly. There's no more position on the field that you have to trust. Well, there probably is, but it's one of the biggest positions that you have to trust is that when you throw the ball, your wide receiver is going to catch it. And Mitch said that Josh is a great wide receiver and this and that. I think that's just a lot of crap, it's him being a good teammate. And you okay? Yeah, exactly. And I just, even on that naked boot when he rolled out and had him wide open, it was almost like Mitch said, I'm not sure if I can totally trust him to not bounce the ball up in the air and have it go back for a pick six. So maybe I'm grasping at straws with that, but there's no consistency in his coaching. There's no consistency in front of him on the offensive line. There's no consistency in the running patterns other than just running on first down all the time. There's no consistency in his wide receivers. He just lost Zach Miller. So I think it's a culmination of everything why you see that confidence level go down a little bit. But it's unfortunately, guys, we are sitting at 3-6. We got a ways to go yet before any of this can get rectified unless they're going to launch Fox closer to Thanksgiving. Who knows? But I do still believe in Mitch Trubisky a lot moving forward, and really he's my one saving grace on offense along with Jordan Howard. So we don't have a lot to pick from there on that side of the ball.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You want to translate that?
What are you smoking tonight, Phil?
That blueberry bush. I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, we got a question.
Pass the Modelo.
We got a question here from Midway Monster. He's actually got several good questions. Let's address this one. He asked.
I want to shout him out.
Jesus, Phil is on speed or
Just
something.
joking.
Can Trubisky recover from this coaching staff like Goff did? And I believe that he can. I mean, yes, there's something concerning to me about when I hear Mitch Trubisky talk now, even 3 weeks ago after a victory. He sounded demure. He sounded upset. He sounded castrated by the offensive play calling. But I've heard and seen enough of him prior to that to believe in my heart that he can turn things around just like this L.A. Ram quarterback did. Phil, do you agree with that or disagree?
No, I do agree. But I think you're 100% right. There was that embarrassment of what winning that.
We are now testing this out for proper modulation.
Dude's on fire tonight.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Sorry.
There was a long pause there.
No, my internet. Never mind. I'm just saying.
Phil has a drinking problem.
I'm just saying, in all reality, there's no doubt this kid was upset and hindered by what transpired at the Ravens game, where you won the football game, but you as the quarterback were more involved in handing off, and the confusion that goes along with that, because your team wins, but you weren't the reason why as a young quarterback, when you always were throughout your career, high school, college, and that I think is a huge reason that he is a little nervous based on his coaching set. I think Shayne hit it out of the park, and also comparing that moment where he reeked of confidence in that Denver Broncos 2-minute drill going in there. You just felt the electricity, whereas now you feel, you can sense a football player's confidence. He's not where he should be, and that's a huge issue with this coaching. I think the comparison to Jared Goff, and I'll be the first one to admit I'm not a big fan, never have been a big fan of Jared Goff, and he's been nothing but impressing me.
Yeah.
You know, with his rise in the NFL of what he's been able to do. But to see the foundational traits that you look for in a quarterback. And I heard, what's his name, Louis Riddick this morning talking about these rookies and waxing poetic about Goff, Wentz, Mahomes, and Deshaun Watson. He failed to even talk about Mitchell Trubisky, and it just stuck with me because Mahomes hasn't even played yet, so he's getting reports from them. And he's talking about how college offenses are transcending into the NFL and how more teams are running zone, spread, read game. Here we are with this player that could be boosted in confidence if we do what he does best, which ultimately will help the whole team. But we can't do that there. So I think the remedy is what Goff got, with having a offensive mind come in here to really gain and forge a bond and relationship with this young signal caller, assuring him that we're going to support you not just in public, but in the locker room and on Sundays. We are going to support you by how we call the plays, what you do, and how you affect this football team to ultimately win championships. And that is why Aldo Gandia, myself, and Shayne are so adamant about firing Fox. We wanted it last year because we knew it was this season and the year of the quarterback. Shane Marsaw made that very clear, and it transpired, even when everyone else was fooled about Mike Glennon. You barflies know all about the quarterback in this bar room. Exactly. So now you have this guy who's stubborn as hell, ignorant as hell, arrogant as hell, calling the shots. Just like the comparison, I believe Alec, I saw him, Jeff Fisher, John Fox, conservative approach, play the gunslinger only to handcuff him. Not going to happen. I think it's got to be another guy, and I think it'll be a huge lift in that electricity that you felt like a Devin Hester waiting on a punt return will return to Mitchell Trubisky.
Hey, one quick question to both of you guys. Maybe I have missed it, and I know this is kind of going back to what we dealt with when Jay Cutler was here, and it's not really a body language thing, but it was about maybe some participation on the sidelines. In all these games that Mitchell has started here over these last 5 games, have you guys seen Mike Glennon sitting down and talking to Trubisky? Every time I've seen Mike Glennon, he's been kind of aloof and away from the group, the quarterbacks and from Dave Ragone and from Mark Sanchez. I don't know if that has stuck out to you guys at all, but it's definitely stuck out to me. Is that anything that you guys have noticed?
I haven't, and I didn't look for that on the sidelines yesterday. I saw Glennon a couple of times. It's hard not to. It's like, a giraffe at the zoo, right? And so,
Yeah.
but I never saw him with Trubisky, and it didn't dawn on me to kind of analyze that.
It's just, I mean, not that it even matters, but still, just the few shots that I've seen on TV, and I know we used to hate that when Jay Cutler got that treatment, but
right.
at the same time, I just thought it to be kind of strange.
Well, maybe quickly, maybe Glennon has forfeited that duty to Sanchez, and you could have too many people in your ear, and maybe Sanchez has been the anointed one for that. But again, I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Phil. Go ahead.
No, it was a mental no. I don't think Shayne, you're being weird and bringing this up. These guys behind the scenes, Aldo can talk about as an Emmy-winning producer himself, have a story they have to tell. Some of them do it well, some of them don't. Some of them have predetermined narratives they want to draw up. But one play stood out. It was after Mitchell Trubisky on a third down took a sack. And he's going to the sideline, the camera's on him, and it was the first time I noticed Mike Glennon come over or even address Mitchell Trubisky. It stood out for me that he kind of had this smirk to his face and then patting Mitch on the back, saying almost a convincing of, yeah, I know how that is, buddy. It's okay that we're losers. That stood out to me, Shayne. I really was intending to bring it up, so I'm glad you brought this up, that he's content to be on the bench, He's one of those people.
Yeah.
We've all been around people like that. Oh, now they're off me. Great. Took a sack. Yeah, I look bad too. I know what that's like. That's a loser's locker room. That's a loser. You don't want that around. So I'm telling you guys right now, it's so important that we get rid of this whole staff. Even if it means losing Vic Fangio, there'll be the next hot market ticket of young coach will come in and play this defense. Because I think Shayne said that weeks ago too, and he's right, because you need the head man to lay down the law and really put this kid on a chariot and really make this offense about him. And everything you're seeing in LA with the Rams, that should be here. And it's a very good comparison as far as the talent on the team. The running back, they have better weapons at wide receiver. We have better tight ends. And then you look at what they have on the offensive line versus what you have here. So you're very close. You need the right mind offensively. And obviously we've talked about the coaching. We can go through that too if you want tonight, my top 10 coaches to go in here, because it really, we need to address the big giant giraffe in the room, and that is Dowell Loggins and John Fox. They got to get out. There's no hope there.
Fuck John Fox.
What was that, Mom?
Fuck John Fox.
Gotta go. Dan Walker asked, do you believe that Ryan Pace is solely responsible for hiring, firing, and bringing in the players he wants? If the answer is no, who do you believe is in the corner room ultimately making the final decisions? Shayne, you want to tackle that one?
I think when
Can you drop that Rocky music now, please? I need the one that the one with the bell. Boom.
The question was about players, and you said, or did you say hiring and firing too?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I think he's clearly making the decision, and I think it's very evident that John Fox is not going to be here after Black Monday, after the season is over. But any big decision like that, guys, Aldo, you work for big corporations and stuff. Like, any big decision, there can be a guy there can be a guy that has a superior, you have to kind of everybody has to be aware of what's going on. Ryan Pace just can't walk down into John Fox's office and say, "You're done, you're fired," and George McCaskey finds out after the fact. I don't think he's got that type of authority. I mean, just the respect factor alone would say that he couldn't do that. You have to include your owner. But yes, Ryan Pace has the juice in this organization when it comes to football moves. I think that was very evident with what played out in the offseason. The George McCaskey let him invest, $18.5 million in Mike Glennon. He let him invest another $1 million in Mark Sanchez. He let him invest draft capital and $29 million guaranteed into Mitch Trubisky. So yes, he is the final decision maker. But if you're saying, can he just go down and clean house of the coaching staff without making ownership aware of the situation? No, obviously he has to go over with that. And if he goes up to George and says, I want to make the move at the bye week, and if George says no, let's just ride it out until the end of the season, then that's kind of what it is. I don't know how else to explain it, but at the end of the day, Ryan Pace is the man. He's got the juice for football related decisions, but yes, he has to get clearance from ownership to make some decisions. I did.
Pain.
Man, Shayne, it was like you choreographed that with the music. I mean, that was pretty unbelievable.
Well, he can't even hear the music.
I know, he can't hear it. That was what's
No, I said
he's on the money.
Phil's drunk over there playing his friggin' iPad, playing music, and while I'm talking, I'm like, what is he doing? I hear little bits of music, and then I forgot. I'm like, oh shit, that's Rocky.
That's what I hear when I'm doing The Smartest Man. Just so you know.
Oh, really? Well, guess what?
I hear the snippets of the song.
Yeah, little tiny bits and pieces that it sounds like it's in the distance. Yeah.
We need a sponsor, guys. I can get all these guys the studio equipment they need. But speaking of The Smartest Man.
Oh yeah. You know what time it is, y'all. I didn't prepare shit. Spit. Shayne Marsaw is the smartest man, bringing all the hits to the Twitter-sphere.
Oh my God.
Aldo,
Smartest man.
I gotta get your show tune was actually better than that opening that Phil just gave me.
Oh my God, I love the show tune too.
Oh my God. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Whenever I see someone as fucked up as John Fox, and I'm not just talking about his cigarette voice box.
Yes.
My inner demon says to me, punch someone till they start to bleed. And since Alice Hall doesn't give that was pretty bad. I don't know, Shayne.
We should do a musical.
Yeah.
Me, you, and Shayne.
That is awesome idea.
I'm gonna write it. I'm serious.
That is an awesome idea. But
It's gonna be about the barflies.
Let me tell you that every TV show that has tried that, they've been canceled shortly thereafter.
He's a fraud. Aaron Lemming. Matt Miller.
We'll set up a meeting with you and Harvey Weinstein. Maybe we can get this made into a movie film.
Just leave your wife at home, please. All right, Mr. Shayne Marsaw, smartest man in the room. What kind of a week did you have?
The dumbest tweet of the week.
Yeah, these were pretty easy this week. I actually had these all squared away ahead of time. I wasn't scrambling at the last minute and then I saw the golden goose come out of the woodwork from this new tweeter today. His name is Eddie Kormrikian, and it's at E Kormrikian.
There's the dumbass.
He tweeted out today, "Is it time to start questioning the pick of Mitch Trubisky? I think so. He hasn't progressed since game one. That's alarming to me. #Bears." And
3 slaps.
Goodness.
I know there's a lot of dumbasses on Twitter. We see that on a daily basis.
We've had a few.
And I'm not trying to trash any of our barflies. Eddie doesn't happen to follow me, and I don't know if he follows any of you guys, but this is just I almost want to reach out and try and educate these guys. I mean, everybody knew Mitchell coming out, 13-game starter, played in 31 others in college, inexperienced, unfortunately coming to a bad situation offensively here in Chicago with a terrible coaching staff and, Cam Meredith going down, Zach Miller going out, and like I said, some clueless offensive coaches. But if you think that anything should be questioned pick-wise about Mitch Trubisky, just really, I delete your account and get off Twitter and go watch soccer. That's really all.
There's the dumbass.
Really?
Soccer sucks.
Unbelievable. That guy really tweeted that out. That's truly an uninformed fan. And
I'm so disappointed in the Armenian. I hoped he would represent Armenia better than that kind of thinking. I mean,
maybe we need to.
Disappointed.
Maybe we need to add to our Bears Barroom Radio Network lineup a show that is for the football for dummies kind of thing. Where we just like bring in Riley.
Oh, so you want my 6-year-old son to teach Dustin about football?
Oh man, that was pretty good.
The knee bone's connected to the thigh bone.
All right, one thing that we know is that there are more dumb tweets to come.
Oh yeah.
That's perfect right there, Phil. Thank you very much. I'll move right on.
He's the smartest man. No tweets. He's never missing. Impossible, the mission. Taking out Twitter frauds with precision. He's the smartest man in the barroom. Dumbest tweet of the week.
Oh, he's fighting back. Phil is fighting back.
Yeah, he's scratching and clawing his way up from the basement, so we'll see what happens.
I actually am recording for the first time back in the basement, fellas. No more mother-in-law.
Yay!
Freedom! I won't let you down.
You want to share what happened with mom-in-law?
Oh, no. I think anybody listening could kind of put the pieces together. The mother-in-law, the basement, twins, 4 kids.
You must apply the lotion, Phil.
Nothing I ever did was good enough.
I'll jump into this worst tweet of the week before Phil gets himself killed by going too far with this conversation.
Yeah, really.
I'll be the
This
good.
bit has to stop now.
I'll be the good wingman and put out the fires before we blow this fucker up completely. But we're gonna go back to an old friend this week, guys, and it's gonna be a little bit different twist. It's actually gonna be a 2-parter to really show you the amount of bullshit that is spewed with these quote-unquote experts.
Ladies and gentlemen,
everybody's
prepare yourself.
Everybody's favorite at NFL draft scout, Matt Miller, is...
This guy's a consistent.
He's back yet again. And just browsing around Twitter on July 18th, 2017, Mr. Miller tweeted out, "I am so excited for this 2018 draft class. It's early, but this has the potential to be the best group I've ever evaluated. And this kind of goes back to ever evaluated. This kind of plays hand in hand to what we talked about last offseason heading up to the draft, how we pretty much everybody agreed except for our fearless leader, Mr. Gandia, that the 2017 quarterback draft class
of the safety
was criminally underrated, and everybody said that the 2018 class was generational, and if you want a quarterback, you wait for that class. And yes, they still have a few weeks to prove themselves and the entire offseason, but Matt Miller he was riding that wave of momentum and bullshit by tweeting out that he's so excited for the 2018 draft class. Yes, it's early, but they have the potential to be the best group I've ever evaluated. Well, Mr. Miller followed that brilliant piece up from July 17th. He wrote an article for Bleacher Report on the NFL draft on November 10th, 2017. And the title of that was Matt Miller's Scouting Notebook. Is this the worst draft class of the decade? Talking about the 2018 draft class. Well, fellow Twitter friend called him out on it and asked him about this tweet back in July that I just shared with you about
Tommy O'Malley.
Yes, Tommy O'Malley.
Barfly. Shout out to Tommy. Calling for the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our big, our hired assassins here watching out for us called him out, and Matt Miller got pissed off and told him to stop being a shithead and said, hey, a lot can change in 5 months. So, yes, obviously it can. When you're talking about a draft class that can go from maybe one of the best ever to one of the worst draft classes in the decade. And guess what? None of them have been drafted yet. So still, maybe by the time February or March rolls around, maybe there'll be, another generational draft class. So Mr. Miller, we might have to rename this award to your dumbass. And you seem to be a repeat offender. About every other week you make an appearance here. So you are the winner this week of the dumbest tweet of the week.
Question is, why are you still here?
Because you suck at your job.
You know how I feel. Why would you say that?
Boy, that was the worst drop I've ever come up with in my life.
I thought that was Phil and his mother-in-law. I'm sorry.
Boy, we do have to name that award the Matt Miller Award because
guy's taking home a lot of trophies.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of Marsos.
He's the Wayne Gretzky, Muhammad Ali, Rocky Balboa bad tweeter of the year. I'll tell you. All right. Do we have any more? Yeah, we do. We got the good one, right?
We got the best one.
Oh, can't wait to hear this.
I should win this one. Oh, yeah. You know me, MC Fulfill Lee, bringing Shayne Marsaw's best tweet of the week. Yeah.
Does every intro have to lead off with "Oh yeah"?
That's the best part.
Yeah.
That's the best.
How's that the best part?
I love that part.
It's got my fans. That's what I sign on my autograph. Oh yeah.
It's got this creepy quality to it.
Yeah, it's like Rodney the limo driver in his sex tips.
It's like George Takei inviting somebody to his house. Oh yeah. Let me help
Cosmo's Kramer's thing. He would always have.
And Lauren Cox is trying to figure out who you're talking about, Cosmo Kramer.
Lauren Cox is trying to figure out a lot of things. I can say here right now.
I got a boner!
Again?
He's discovering human anatomy.
So I'll jump into this best tweet of the week, and I will have to throw some love my partner in crime's way, Phil, he pointed this out to me. Andrew Littlefield, and you can follow him on Twitter at @AM_Littlefield. It refers back to John Fox. Andrew tweeted out, before the bye week, John Fox talked about 4th down field goal in New Orleans. We couldn't get it on 1st, 2nd, or 3rd down. So what would you expect on 4th? Why would you expect anything different? Using that same logic, John Fox doesn't have a winning record in years 1, 2, or 3. So why should we expect him to be any different in 2018? So I thought that was a real nice play.
Absolutely.
Real nice play on John Fox's own words. And it really holds a lot of merit because I totally agree with him. And, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. We're just going to, repeat our mistakes again if they bring this guy back. And we shouldn't expect anything different. So, Andrew Littlefield, you are the winner of the best tweet of the week.
Once.
Man, I wish wish we had a prize.
Twice. 3 times a lady. That's what I thought of when Jay was going through his count. Fool me once, fool me twice.
We are now testing this out for proper modulation.
Hey, who the fuck are you calling over here?
were you just punching your microphone, Phil?
Did I hit it again?
Oh my God! It sounded like a deep throated you or something like that.
Oh my God! My cocky balls.
Oh my goodness! All right, I want to get back to a couple of tweets. Let me find the one here that from our man who in one tweet offered 20 great questions.
Over and over and there again, coach does it again. A typical line that covers a team with no plan.
Damn, bro. Midway Monster asks, what are we going to do at cornerback at the end of this year? Sign Amukamara, Fuller, Callahan? And let's address that one. He's got a couple of other good questions here. But I was incredibly frustrated with Kyle Fuller's play Sunday against the Packers. And it was almost emblematic of the season that he's had, where he's looked good at certain points. I mean, he's looked really good at certain points, and then looked really bad, too. And I think a lot of the bad has been disguised by his good play. There was something on Pro Football Focus today about the amount of missed tackles that he's had. He has now missed 35 of a possible 196 tackles in his NFL career, and that's alarming. I mean, that is way too much. And the folks at Pro Football Focus say that Sunday against the Packers, 8 of the 10 targets, he allowed 8 of the 10 targets that were thrown his way to be completed for 127 yards. So he did not have a good game. Guys, why don't we talk about the cornerback situation? Because now, as high as I was about it, 3 weeks ago, now I'm coming back down with Prince Amukamara's injuries. Marcus Cooper is still to show consistent play, and Bryce Callahan was exposed 2 weeks ago. What do you guys think? Shayne, you want to begin?
Yeah, Kyle Fuller, he did have a couple nice pass breakups, and boy, he had that one. I honestly feel, I know the Benny Cunningham. That Benny Cunningham touchdown, non-touchdown review play was a huge momentum shift, but I really, really felt, to me, the big swing came when he didn't secure that interception. You could just feel the energy in the crowd, and even on the defense, you could just feel it change there. He did make a couple nice breaks on the ball, but something that we do see week after week, guys, is Kyle Fuller is the guy that's getting targeted every week. So that kind of tells you what other opposing teams really think of him. They're picking him out as the guy to go after, and what is the reason for that? There's been Are they looking at him as the weakest link? And obviously, it seems like they are. And the one thing that does worry me with Kyle Fuller, and I was singing his praises just as loud as anybody else was, because he's a first rounder. You made that, and Emery made that investment in him, and you want to get some return on that. But there's always been a mental thing there with Kyle Fuller where you think to yourself, is he completely invested in this entire process? Now, the first thing that came into my mind after the game Sunday with Kyle was, does he think that he's done enough to this point to warrant the extension from Chicago? And now he's going to pull back a little bit and try to play not to get injured so he can head into his offseason as an unrestricted free agent. I hope that's not the case, but that was just, you guys know me well enough that I look at things from a little bit different perspective, and that was one thing that kind of stuck out to me. But it's a great point. Amukamara had that ticky-tack, really bullshit pass interference call, and he's done well, but he's like you said, Aldo, he's not a guy that you can consistently count on because he always seems to be dinged up. It's an ankle, it's a shoulder or whatnot, but it's going to be a huge issue moving forward. And you got a guy is DeAndre Hall going to come back? Do they still have any faith in him? Because last year at this time, he was a bright light. He was a guy that we thought, if this kid could just stay healthy, maybe he's a guy that we can build on. And unfortunately, he had the off-season issue with the bar fight, and really he ended up getting nicked up a little bit and hasn't been able to play this year yet. But like you said, Callahan, a free agent, Fuller, Amukamara, who knows what's going on with Marcus Cooper? It's a great question, and when you're talking about wide receiver being a huge need, you could really have to put cornerback right up there too, as one of the top needs on this team moving forward. So I don't think I can't sit here and tell you exactly what's going to happen because I don't think the Bears know at this point. It's part of an evaluation process, and I think these last few games are huge for Kyle Fuller's tenure here in Chicago. I think he's obviously going to be a guy they let test the market and maybe see what kind of a deal he can get. But like I said, he did make some plays, but overall we saw a lot of the Kyle Fuller that we didn't care for before this past Sunday.
Phil, jump in with your thoughts on this cornerback situation.
I really believe the next game is important to assess Kyle Fuller because I think he's played tremendous football and physical football, especially from the cornerback position. And this last game on a wet, muddy field, Shayne is 100% on the money. It was going to be a point that I emphasized tonight. I thought he really let the team down by not making that play because he totally had a feel going on as far as when to jump a route. He almost had an early one and then another one. He was building confidence. And then he had the missed tackle, and then everything went downhill after he missed. I think it's the second play of the whole game. You see him break on the ball, bats it down, and you're like, wow, this kid is really playing. And when he dropped that ball, I thought it was a huge turning point. Just Shayne, 100% right. I also thought it mentally handicapped him because from that point forward, he started to play unlike he had been playing. So this next game, because as a corner, you got to have a short-term memory, and you got to go back out there and make the next play. He had an awful game. There's no doubt. That's not going to deter me from my assessment of him what is going to happen is this game is going to tell me all I need to know about Kyle Fuller. Everyone remember that I said that, because this Sunday against Detroit Lions, a team that's going to love to pass the football, he's going to be put in situations that are going to be dire, especially with Jones. He likes to throw that back shoulder ball to Jones, throwing it up, and Kyle's going to be matched up with it. So, Kyle, you define, are you here or are you going to cakewalk this like Shayne's talking about? Because I totally understand. We've seen it before with this player. I tend to believe that this young man's going to step up next week, and that's what I want to see. As far as Callahan for the future, is Callahan going to be a restricted free agent, or is he a guy that's tagged?
I think he's a restricted free agent.
Yeah, so he's definitely coming back. The guy's always injured. There's no consistency other than the fact that he's constantly nicked up. And really, ultimately, I thought he was on the downtrend after the Saints game. As Shayne was talking about with Fuller, I thought the Saints really made it a point to go after him. And really, ultimately, I think he really needs to work in physical training department as far as these muscle issues. Just explosive weight training should be his whole offseason, and jumping rope. And then I think Callahan will be a superstar because he's got immense talent. There's no doubt about it. But the fact that he carries that ability as a restricted free agent, he will be back. And Mukamura, again, much like Fuller, here's a guy on a one-year deal that has been playing very well, made the terrible decision to lean and try to be inside and outside the alley. He knew where he had to be in a run fit. He didn't get there, and it really just was the domino and the impetus of the downtrend when a team runs the football on you like that, and that's your bread and butter. He needed to be in-house and in the alley making the play on number 88 there for the Packers, and he just wasn't there. And that led the last line of defense just to the game. So he didn't have a good game either, but he has also been playing very good football. And when you talk about Cooper, he had 2 plays because these 2 guys are playing outside corner and had been playing so good that they've kept Cooper, if you remember, who got injured and had one of the most crazy plays you've ever seen, and on a blocked field goal not going in, has had limited reps after he was injured because these 2 have been playing so well. So right now it's too early for me to say who's staying and who's going after one sloppy game where your offense completely didn't help you and neither did your defense or coaches. So I really think this week against Detroit is going to say a lot about this football team and the talent here. Who's quitting, who's competing, and who's a true professional moving into 2018 with the Bears.
Shayne, Tom O'Malley has a concern similar to mine
about
the guard position, and said we're going to have to draft a guard at the end of the season. And he apparently was listening to the Score Sports Radio, and Big Cat Williams might have said something that was kind of questioning Kyle Long's toughness. I find that hard to believe, with all due respect to Tom O'Malley. I don't think Big Cat would have questioned his toughness, maybe expressed something regarding frustration regarding Kyle's injuries and being off the field.
Yeah.
I
mean,
did he?
Go ahead.
Just let me say this real quickly. At the game Sunday, Kyle desperately wanted to play. He was on the sideline. He was talking to trainers. He wanted to get in there. Josh Sitton was injured for a play, and Long quickly grabbed his helmet, wanted to get in there. So I don't think this is an issue regarding his toughness. Shayne, I think you were one of the first people to start sharing on Twitter that he's got 3 fingers that are hurt, not just one. So why don't you address this guard situation and any thoughts on Kyle Long?
Yeah, I mean, to tackle the Long talk first off, that's really one of the things that drives me crazy. Anybody that's gonna question his toughness, I mean, that really goes back to, I really put it in the same boat as when people were questioning Jay Cutler's toughness. It's really a non-story to me. When you when you have the type of injury, and I've had some pretty brutal ankle injuries and foot injuries over the years, he totally destroyed every ligament and in his ankle, and it was just still right now in the season, his legs aren't matching because of the muscle atrophy, because of the inactivity. It's getting a little bit better. So I'm not gonna anybody if Big Cat did question Kyle's toughness, then Big Cat should just move along and find a new hobby, I guess, because that's ridiculous. But in terms of the guard, we saw some rumors floated out there by Ian Rappaport saying that teams were calling the Bears possibly about acquiring Josh Sitton at the trade deadline. You're talking about drafting a guard. I don't think we should forget that the Bears did just draft a guard, one that's on injured reserve, and Jordan Morgan from Kutztown. Not a lot of people really knew about the kid. I know Phil and Jose were very high on him leading up into the draft process. For them, they thought enough of him to stash him for the year, so I think he's going to be part of Ryan Pace's offensive line moving forward. But Phil made a real good point on Bears Hour Live the other night when you're talking about offensive line and moving Cody Whitehair constantly and Kyle Long and what's going on with Ronis Grisou. I can find you guards. Just like Phil said, if you want a guard, I can find you a guard, a guy that's going to step in there. And I agree with Phil. Bradley Soul has kind of exceeded my expectations a little bit from the little that he has played. But yeah, it's going to be it has to be a focus because Bobby Massey, I think, will be a former Bear at the end of this year, and Charles Leno obviously got the contract extension, so that leaves you with Whitehair at center, Kyle Long. He's going to be rehabbing his probably impending labrum surgery all off season, so that's going to set him back in terms of off season preparation and being a part of the process with that. But it absolutely has to be a focus in the off season because you have to give yourself. It's the lifeblood of your offense. It's protecting your most prized possession in number 10, and they have to put themselves in the best possible position to find the guys that are going to be out there that they can rely on. And Phil, maybe you can jump in here a little bit. I just have a feeling that this is also.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I have a feeling that there's probably some merit to that talk about Josh Sitton, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's also part of the exodus out of Chicago in the off season. It wouldn't surprise me a bit. So that's
culture people.
It's a great question by Tom because there you go. Is Jordan Morgan? Do they have enough faith in him to replace a guy like Josh Sitton? He's obviously going to need to bulk up, but it's absolutely got to be a focus this offseason.
Let me jump in here and ask you a question pertinent to this question. With Jordan Morgan on IR, can the Bears designate him to come back, give him these last games to grasp the offense and the NFL action, helping your team on the inside, and having the balls to cut Grisou, because it's obvious as Tanner Gentry not getting open, Grisou can't play center in the NFL, folks. This isn't breaking news. I talked about this in the summer. Kid has halfway through the season, and he looks worse. So the move, to answer his question because I'm reading it, Aldo, on the Twitter sphere, and the Barflies have united and are fired up on Twitter. It's great. We love you guys. I believe it is an offensive line coach's duty to keep the foundation of your offense put together. The decision to move Whitehair to play guard and put Grisou in there was a detriment to Mitchell Trubisky and your offense. The Packers, it's their strength inside with Mike Daniels and Clark, who has been phenomenal for them. They just ate Grisou up like he was freaking a Big Mac at McDonald's. It was just disgusting how bad that was. And let me just tell you, I don't ever want to see that again. And if they do that again, because you don't have Kyle Long. Kyle Long, to me, I said it before. I'm not going to lie to anybody. You tape it up. You got a club on there, as Shayne told me he did, and has had it. Then he's freaking in the game playing. I don't understand why he wasn't playing. I don't get it. But if that's the decision they made, then why is he on special teams? Like, to me, that deserves a question and an answer of how come he's okay to go out and play specials. Oh, because it's only one play? To me, it didn't make any sense, and I understand what Aldo's saying. He wanted to get out there. But you caused a whole detriment to your offense, and part of the reason why the running game, which should be your bread and butter and is, couldn't get going. And you can't help your quarterback like that. And you really went out there and had what you had as an advantage became a disadvantage based on personnel and decision-making by the offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach, who, by the way, I've not been impressed anything about technique and holding players accountable. We should have seen Sowell in there at guard at the very least, and you should have kept your center, who I believe is a top 3 offensive lineman in the league type of player. You move him to guard where he becomes a non-factor and doesn't help your football team as much as in a – let me just say this one last technical thing. When you're running a stretch zone, your center becomes the quarterback of how you're going to block it and how he's going to get to the next level or block somebody on a shade. So if somebody's outside shaded you and you're asking a guy that's standing straight up to get there, he's not. He's going to beat him and run right through his arms. And when you saw it happen time and time again, it totally took away what you were doing. But the funny thing is, Barflies, he kept doing it, despite the fact that you're watching a center and a guards that aren't working in unison and can't do it. Today wasn't the day for them. You had to man block and combo block to help these guys so you could help your running back and hope that he breaks a tackle, which he's very good at. But I digress. They decided that this is their offense and they're going to do it. And it's the same offense you saw with Mike Glennon, you fucks. How about use the fucking spread and run the game with this guy that's an athlete and threaten the edge where you got a shitty-ass guy who gets tricked all the time taking a risk in Clay Matthews. Play off him. He's prone to this. Nope, didn't do it. We're going to run our game. What game is it? The bench McBride game and start Josh Bell, throw the young tight end showing the most he's ever shown on the football field so far. No, not going to go back to that. That worked too much. Let's try something else. How about we trick him and throw it to Josh? It is unfucking believable, and it deserves another Aldo.
We are now testing this out for proper modulation.
I gotta buy this guy.
No games.
Number 5.
Number 5. I gotta give a shout out right here, right now to Bilbo Baggins, who just tweeted out 2 minutes ago. What's a more fireable offense? Dal Noggins stating Cohen is the most explosive offensive player they have and then having him grow roots on the sideline, or self-scouting during a bye week and determining Josh Bellamy drew some hands? Bilbo, that was awesome.
I freaking love Bilbo.
Bilbo is awesome, man. All right, listen to this right here, right
Great.
now. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Bears Barroom Radio.
A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up.
This week, Draft Dr. Phil and Shayne Marsaw, the smartest man in the bar rooms, bear ups and bear downs of the week.
A bear up, a bear down. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. They're watching the tape and weighing. The game is done. The Bears have lost and won. They're playing the tape and grading. Bear up, bear down. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. They're watching the tape and weighing. The game is done. The Bears have lost or won. They're playing. The boys are grading. Cheeto blockies, I take them out like my girlfriend. Smack 'em, flip 'em, and stick 'em until you can't bend. Till then I'm still, I got hype credential. Barflies blown out fraud brothers like Nintendo. 5'7" kind of a small one, but I still store bums, key suckers in doldrums. As I'm speaking and taking a change in my English, I quickness to get rich. I like chalk but not chips. Connecticut in the house, but the barroom's where I live. I'll bear up, bear down. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. I'll bear up, bear down. This is another fulfilling, funkified track. Yes, yes.
Damn, brother. That was hot.
Funkified track. That's Shane's favorite line.
Funkified. Oh, yeah, Phil.
Oh, yeah. Can I get a t-shirt? How the fuck?
Yeah, you got to get
What
a
are these
t-shirt.
Bears 100 proof t-shirts? I'm getting DMs, texts from Dustin.
Did you see
T-shirt.
Did you see
Canada.
Did you see the Buffon 55 hoodies?
We are now testing this out.
You deserve a gold chain for that song, bro.
I'm fucking making songs. Buffon's getting fucking Armani suits.
Yeah, he issues. He ain't getting them from me. All right, who's going first this week, fellas?
That would be me. Sorry, Phil.
All right, you want to
Is
go?
it you?
You want to start? With
Yeah.
You want to start with your up or down?
Always then. Bear up, a bear down.
So you want to start with the bear up?
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
All right. I vilified this guy our last show.
I know where he's going. This
You know, he
You
surprised
took my bear up because I didn't think you had the balls to do it.
He surprised the fuck out of me. Connor Bard.
Bars, baby. Guess
hey,
who's back?
You're talking
Bart
about
is back.
You're talking about us and our barflies, and everybody was vilifying Ryan Pace and Connor Barth. I mean, I told him last week to get the fuck off my team. And I even tweeted out when he was attempting that 49-yard field goal, I could have gave myself the dumbest tweet of the week because I tweeted it out, 49-yarder. Yeah, right. Okay. And then he split
buried
it. He did. And
in the rain.
Yeah, he was hitting him clean. Yeah, let's be honest, 49-yard field goal in Soldier Field in November. That's not your normal run-of-the-mill field goal attempt. Yeah. So, Connor Barth, you surprised me. So, I'm totally expecting him to go 0 for 4 versus Detroit this week in his bounce-back game. But
maybe they'll bench him.
Yeah, right.
Hold on, O'Donnell we want to try O'Donnell.
Yeah. Maybe they'll have Cody Whitehair hasn't attempted a field goal yet, so maybe they'll have him doing that too. But Connor Barth.
Hold on, Josh, we need you out there, buddy. Josh Bellamy's gonna kick.
No,
you don't want him. You want him as the holder?
Yeah, right.
Bellamy. Number 6. Get off that mic, Phil.
I'm sorry. Oh my God.
All right,
so yes, Connor Barth, my bear up of the week.
Woo, take a bow, Connor Barth. Woo! It's probably
go on and take a bow.
It's probably never going to happen again. So take a bow.
I'm proud of Shayne. I did not believe. I thought I was going to have to be the guy he took my bear up this week.
Bear up, bear down. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around there watching the tape and weighing. The game is done. The Bears have lost or won this playing. The boys are grading.
Oh, man. I screwed up the fade down. Phil, your turn. Bear up.
I'm going to go with the new cat in town. I don't know why.
We are now testing this out for proper modulation.
Number 8.
Inman.
7.
That one was worth 2.
All right, I don't know why his name is escaping me, but I'm going to go with the new guy in town. Inman. I don't know why. I can't remember his first name.
And the Oscar goes to, what's the name of that movie again?
Oh, yeah. What's his name? Dontrell Inman.
Dontrell, thank you. I couldn't remember his first name. I don't know why.
Yeah, you probably never have to say it again. He'll disappear soon.
They'll bench him next week.
Really?
We're going to try out Gentry again. Dontrell Inman coming in, working hard, really going up against the football, showing the kind of high point catcher and passer and building a relationship. You could tell. Spielman even addressed it. I know Aldo did last week, pointing it out that they were spending extra time. They were actually going out afterwards to dinner, getting to know the full person. I said is really important, especially that quarterback-receiver relationship. So then to go out there, he exceeded my expectations of what he brought to the football field, and that was a professional route runner. The flag route that he ran was precise. Mm-hmm. Then he went up and high-pointed the football, came down with it. You felt confident with him out there, and I know he ended on a sour note on a ball that, friend of the show, Robert Zaglinski, thought wasn't a big deal. But
yeah, it's only the fucking fun. You're down by
8.
Down by 7, drop a third down pass when you're driving to tie the game up. I don't see what the big deal is, Phil. Don't be such a dick.
Robert, we love you. Shayne might not, but
no, I don't. He's a fucking idiot.
So I don't know how anyone could come up with that concept in their head that wasn't a big drop. But
hey, Phil, doesn't he
huge drop?
Doesn't he remind you of Cam quite a bit?
Oh, he does. It's
big
so
time,
funny.
Yeah.
Was it? It was somebody who said he looked similar to him.
That's at Wazram said that. I don't know if
that
you know him
guy's
or not.
A smart
He's pretty
guy.
amazing.
Yeah, he's pretty smart. He gives me shit all the time. I've never been right,
Shayne,
by the
it's
way,
true.
in an argument with him.
You
are the smartest man in the barroom.
Aldo,
She's never met him.
your mother sounds great tonight.
Oh my gosh,
We are
she's
now
ready for you,
testing this
bro.
out
She
for
is
proper
ready.
modulation.
She,
Sounds 20 years younger.
Yeah.
you're gonna have to work really hard to impregnate her, though.
Yeah, but I thought he really came out there, did exactly what Shayne said. He looked the part. The drop kind of obviously was going to take him off my list, but the disappointment of that game is and was what it was. And I really thought Inman stood out as a building block piece. I think that's somebody really got to showcase this coming week against Detroit, take advantage of his height, get him together with Mitchell, get McBride on the football field, get these players together. As Shayne, we always say it, it's a young man's game. It's a speed game. You want to get the tall receiver out there to help possess the football, and I thought he really played a really good football game for just coming in here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, one more thing to point out with Inman too, Phil, just with that drop, and I know stats don't really matter, but it does give the players confidence. That drop, if he catches that ball, puts Mitch over 300 yards, and it puts Inman over 100 yards receiving, in his debut. So that would give both guys a little bit of mojo moving into next week versus Detroit. So, yeah, it actually ended up being a rather large drop, Mr. Zaglinski.
Exactly.
5 of Inman's catches resulted in a Bears first down. That was pretty nice. All right.
I'll have the large salad, please. Robert.
Dontrell Inman, Phil Ottochian's player of the week. Player up. All right. Now we got to get to the bad news. Was this hard for you guys this week? Pick a Bear down?
No, jeez, I think we could.
I just worry if he's going to take my guy again.
I have a weird feeling that I'm going to, Phil.
Fuck.
I don't know, and it's
Does
something.
his last name rhyme with Lasso?
No, I'm not gonna. I already pointed him out, so I'll give you him. No, mine's a little off the radar, and maybe a lot of people don't overlook him, but it ended up being really the play that just killed Chicago. And Pernell McPhee on that third down.
Thank you.
Yeah, he jumped inside, and he was expecting Unrein to do a stunt and go around. And as much as we want to bash on John Fox, to his credit, he's not going to come out and vilify a player publicly, but he really kind of did that with McPhee. He didn't. Somebody asked him about it, and he's like, no. That was, that was not, McPhee kind of took it upon himself to do that. And you saw McPhee stop on the play and kind of like throw his fist towards Unrein and saying, you're not doing your job. When at the end of the day, it was McPhee that was freelancing or didn't get the play or whatever it was. But to let Hundley rush for, I think it was a 17-yard run, and they're talking about him having a hamstring issue. Even on that run, you could see it. Hundley was running like an old man. He didn't even want to slide because of the hamstring issue. He ended up diving head first and even landing on his throwing shoulder. So that it ended up being such a huge momentum shift. You could have given your team a little bit more confidence and given the ball back to Mitch Trubisky to make some headway. But it just that one. I don't think he played great overall. McPhee has surprised me a little bit this year. He's played, he hasn't been injured, and I really expected him to look a lot more slowed down than he really has. I mean, he's played pretty well for the most part, but that play was such a huge negative. It really stuck out for me, and he was he was always going to be my bear down of the week, just because of that one play first and foremost.
Yeah, I saw it happen, Shayne. I saw it happen right when it was happening. It was a critical third down. I knew right away, based on the defensive alignment, as well as their first steps, even including his. You watch him, he's going upfield. He decides to take course inside himself. And once you let up contain like that, you break down the whole process of the defense. And
it's over.
It was so disappointing. And I think he deserves this award more so than anything for falsely putting the blame on Unrein. And that's a disappointment right there, too.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was having a tough day overall, and so that's, I think, why he was freelancing. He got frustrated, went inside, and it was so obvious. I immediately said it at the time. That was Purnell's fault, because the person I was with saying, "Where's the middle linebacker? Where's the inside linebacker?" I go, "Oh, no. That's Purnell McPhee. He screwed that up." I had the delight of going to the game with someone who really didn't know much about football, So, on third down in critical situations, all of a sudden, "Hey, you want a hot dog?" You're about to snap the ball here. What are you talking about? So,
Did you and Eric Lambert have a good time at the game, Aldo?
Oh, my goodness. All right, Felski, who you got as your bear downs? I know who his name rhymes with.
Well, I was going to go with Grisou, but, it's too easy.
Yeah, it is.
And it really is. We talked about how poorly he played, that he shouldn't even be on the team. So if we go down the laundry list of players that shouldn't be on the team, that would be too easy this week. In a game you lost, you were unprepared. You needed players that play and that expectation of their play to be on the top shelf and really take this game seriously, play sound technique football with a chip on your shoulder. I know we talked about this, leading up to the game. How would they be prepared? Would they come out arrogant and be aloof during the game? All the things we concerned ourselves with happened. And this player was someone we didn't expect it to happen, but as we talked earlier in the show, I got to give my bear down player to Kyle Fuller. And he really needed to make that interception. He also needed to be in the right place on the back shoulder ball that this Adams caught for a touchdown. It was disappointing that he didn't play with the moxie, and I think we really broke it down for you well. I felt like his confidence just went in the gutter once he didn't make that interception. It played on him the whole game. I think he was saying on the sidelines, just based on the way he was playing, because it didn't look like the guy I saw that he was over there. I should have picked that. Damn it, I should have freaking picked. I'm so pissed. His whole focus was on that play that he didn't step up and forget it and make the next play that needed to be made and ultimately were the deciding points in the game and really let the wind out of the sails. So Kyle Fuller, with the hopes that you're going to turn this around, you are my bear down.
Oh, my sound effect. Where did it go?
Phil, hit your microphone real quick. That's about the worst possible sound. So.
Yo.
Hold on a second. Where the
Did
fuck
it work?
go? No, it didn't. Now that you tried to do it.
Oh, of course. I try to do it. Hold on. Let me take my...
Oh, Kyle Fuller, you fuck up. All right, guys. We're 2 hours in, so I think we need to call it a day. I have a really big day tomorrow.
Are we forgetting the world premiere?
Of? Oh!
Oh, my God. Who's he? Has he been smoking?
I'm tired, man. I'm working 20 hours a day.
Shit.
All right, now it's time for the world premiere of our new theme song produced sung The Whole Ball of Wax by Draft Dr. Phil Ottochian, our resident future Grammy Award winner. Phil, tell us a little bit about this song before I hit play.
This is dedicated to my boys, you, Shayne, and all the barflies. Boys meaning the people I love. So women, you are included, because barfly women have been fly girls, bringing football truth to to rise to the top, Aldo. This is what we stand for on this show. I wrote this song with everything in mind. The fan, the guy, the Twitter handles, all of you that believe in Aldo, Shayne, and myself, and really encourage us to do this show. I honestly, to goodness, Shayne will joke about me all the time. I really put my heart and soul into this song for the show, and this will be our anthem for our show. We have the Firefox anthem, and that's for the Chicago Bears. This is the root of Bears Barroom Radio's Bears 100 Proof, Aldo, and that's all I could say.
Shayne,
let it play.
Shayne, is this the first time you're hearing it?
Am I supposed to lie, Phil, and say yes? Or
my wife, true story.
There he goes again.
Great job, Phil.
How many is that now?
I'll tell the story. Phil fell asleep. Steph called me. We hung out for a little bit. She played the song for me, so I'm sorry, Phil. Secret's out.
My wife didn't want me to hold off on Shayne because my wife loves this song. Like, the kids love it, she loves it, and the people that I played to. But she's like, you can't make Shayne wait. You wrote about him in a song. How cool is that? So I sent it to Shayne by my better half's guilt trip, basically.
All right, well, everybody just sit back and listen to this great tune. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh. Yeah. Nah. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Yo, first, the smartest man, no tweets, he's never missing impossible. The mission, call out frauds with precision. A Bears 100 proof, these faces #1 adorer. Slaying dumb tweets, cross-eyed like Katora. Never one to back down to call a fraud a lemon. Wise Ram, no doubt, Miller's asterisk ending. Cheers, Bears fans. The fire Puerto Rican barkeeping for Chicagoland. He's the godfather, the one, the real producer. Always keeping the show together with the voice that will seduce us. Risking out a Firefox, the old timer never stops. IPA, drafts, malts, crafts, barkeep takes a shot.
No deny.
Barflies appreciated worldwide. Canada, Scotland, England, Brazil, Mexico, and Dubai. Dr. Phil is the guy, the one to realize that the barroom needed a show with an endless shoot supply. Go big coat fought the narrative on color, brought the Jasons of get big for Mitchell. Now I'm the standing up for the truth. You know your boy's the little guy. These media heads won't give us credits up to the barflies. Flies. Fuck a fraud in his keyboard, Twitter tough guys surround us. Raining truth on the Bears worldwide, barflies astound us. This is the #1 pod, that's the reality of the truth. And if you don't know us by now, Bears 100 proof. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Bears Barroom, yeah, you know you got to feel it. You got to feel it. You got to feel it. Bears Barroom, you know you got to feel it. Yeah. John Fox. Yeah, yeah. MC fulfilling. Another fulfilling 45 track. Bringing the hits for the Bears, Barflies. Bears 100 proof. Worldwide. Shout out to the super producer, the Godfather, stand up, unite. Aldo Gandia. Shout out to the Vice President. It's the Bears Barroom. And of course, it's only one. The smartest man in the barroom. Come on now. The mailman, Shayne. Money Man Marcel. Deliver the mail. MC fulfill for the Bears. Of course, your boy, Draft Dr. Bears Phil. 100 proof.
Yeah, baby! That was outstanding! Oh
There
my
we
God!
Go.
That was outstanding, brother. Where the hell did you get all this musical talent from, man? How many concussions did you get?
I've had a lot.
Holy cow, they must have hit you the right way, dude.
Did you notice, Aldo, that he never fucked up his mic that entire time he was singing?
I did put it on mute.
That was hilarious. I'm telling you, man, that was extraordinary. Really extraordinary.
There's so many Easter eggs for lyrics in there. I just want to let the barflies decipher them as they go to the show, to them, the countries, worldwide. I don't even want to ruin the lyrics for people because I'm just a musical guy with lyrics. I like to be creative with them. So if you hear me when I'm talking about Shayne, you'll understand what he is on the show, and then Aldo, and then myself. It was just so much fun to delve into this because we have a special relationship and bond, not only on the show, but off the show, as well as with the people that religiously listen to this podcast and what it brings to them. And, you know, I don't think it's corny whatsoever or cheesy to be show your love for somebody else. I think in this society too much, we're losing music, we're losing the creativity and the positive vibes, and I really believe Bears Barroom Radio does that. That's why the reggae tone to it, the positive energy as well as the truth. Bears Barroom Radio is just, it's what it is, and I think the song captures the three of us and the barflies. So it was so much fun to do, Aldo, and I really enjoyed bringing it to this forum. I'm in my lane right now of creativity. I'm rapping about the Bears. I'm rapping about football. I'm rapping about this show and the guys and the fans that bring positivity and energy to this great forum that we have right now.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, and just reading the tweets that we have been getting over the last several weeks from the barflies, people who have just joined in the group and are catching on to the entertainment that we're providing, the laughs, the information, the interaction with them on social media, in the chat room and so forth. It's been really, really rewarding. I'm telling you, and I totally agree with you. I'm the type of guy that I'll cry during a Viagra commercial or something. I'm an emotional dude.
I cry if I have to use it.
Yeah, really.
His hard count. His hard count is higher than mine. God damn it.
I love to hug people and tell them I love them and stuff. So I'm definitely with you, Phil. That, you know, expressing our affection and our true feelings is a good thing to do, and we're going to be doing it tomorrow at 190 North State when we play Phil's other hit tune, Fire John Fox. And boy, I wish, if I had one wish, I wish you guys were with me tomorrow because Phil, for you to take bows and talk to the people who are all going to be there, primarily because they have really congregated to your musical abilities and how you've expressed through music our feelings about John Fox and Shayne, because of all the information and interaction and laughs that you've provided. I mean, it goes on and on. So I don't mean to take up a good portion of the show here by slapping each other's on the back and sucking each other's dick, but I'm really proud of this whole endeavor. And listen, guys, if you want to, I'm going to play the song one more time on the way out. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. It's our new theme song, but I'll let Shayne digress.
Yeah, fuck, I've heard enough. It's good.
Is this the first time anyone's made a song about you, Shayne?
Yeah, I don't know. When I was over in Prague, Ila's father was waxing poetic about me, but I didn't understand a fucking word. So I don't know if he wanted to kill me or if it was sweet nothings. But I came home alive, so it must have been pretty good.
All right, we do have some shout outs for people. So after I play the song one more time, then we'll be back to issue a few shout outs. And Shayne, if you need to go, I totally understand. But here we go one more time with the new hit song. What's the title of this again, Phil?
The Truth.
The Truth. I love it, brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, nah, nah. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Yo, first, the smartest man, no tweets, he's never missing. Impossible, the mission, call out frauds with precision. A Bears 100 proof, these faces #1 is Zora. Slaying dumb tweets, cross-eyed like Control. Never one to back down to call a fraud a lemon. Wazram, no doubt, Miller's asterisk ending. Cheers, Bears fans. The fire Puerto Rican barkeeping for Chicagoland. He's the godfather, the one, the real producer. Always keeping the show together with the voice that will seduce us. Risking out a Firefox, the old timer never stops. IPA, drafts, malts, crafts, barkeep takes the shots. No deny. Barflies appreciated worldwide. Canada, Scotland, England, Brazil, Mexico, and Dubai. Dr. Phil is the guy, the one to realize that the barroom needed a show with an endless truth supply. Gone big coat, fought the narrative on color, brought the Jasons, get paid for Mitchell. Now I'm the standing up for the truth. You know your boy's the little guy. These media heads won't give us credits up to the barflies. Flies. Fuck a fraud in his keyboard, Twitter tough guys surround us. Raining truth on the Bears worldwide, barflies astound us. This is the #1 pod, that's the reality of the truth. And if you don't know us by now, Bears 100 proof. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Bears are alive or 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Bears Barroom, yeah, you know you got to feel it. You got to feel it. You got to feel it. Bears Barroom, you know you gotta feel it. Yeah, you gotta feel it. Do you feel it? Fire, John Fox. Yeah. MC fulfilling. Another fulfilling 45 track. Bringing the hits for the Bears Barflies. 100 proof worldwide. Shout out to the super producer, the Godfather, stand up, unite. Aldo Gandia. Shout out to the Vice President. It's the Bears Barroom. And of course, it's only one. The smartest man in the barroom. Come on now. The mailman, Shayne. Money Man Marcel. Deliver the mail. MC fulfill. on the Bears course. Your boy, Draft Dr. Phil. 100 proof.
Woo! I love it more and more every time I hear it.
Deliver the mail.
That was awesome.
My favorite part is yeah.
Yeah.
We got plenty of
favorite
shout
parts
outs now.
of the favorite parts of the song happen to be at the end when I'm just fucking around.
When you're riffing at the end
with
there?
all these, huh?
When you're riffing at the end there?
Yeah, just laugh at these because I'm like, Fire John Fox, bringing it back into the Firefox. We're not leaving, Aldo.
We're not
We're
leaving.
Standing up for the truth.
Yep. We're gonna be here.
You don't
long
like
after
it?
Fox.
Unfollow and get the stepping. Because me, Shayne, and Aldo, we representing. How about that?
I love it. I love it. All right. We got shout outs. And remember, everyone, 190 North State Street, Wednesday at 1:45 p.m. I will be on social media, primarily Twitter, letting you guys know what's happening to see if I can get some live video out to you guys. So please follow us. And I want to thank, who do we thank first? Phil, but let me pull out my list here. Why don't you, if you got yours ready, why don't you start with the shout outs?
Well, you got to shout out Bears Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Now an official member of the Bears Barroom Radio Network. She's done her civic duty as well as her job duty as HR of the Barroom and International Affairs. She's shouting us out, getting worldwide fans together, Bear fans together to shout out the show. And it's been a tremendous ad and addition by Aldo Gandia. But do you want to say anything?
I don't know if I'll take credit for her being on board, but yeah, she was definitely one of the early followers of us on the chat room when we do Bears Hour Live. I called her my muse because she was always coming up with interesting things to say and stuff, and so she has officially kind of joined the Bears Barroom team, and I'm really, really happy about that and glad that she's a member of the team. Shayne, I know you love her too.
Yes, I do.
Gotta shout out Midway Monster, Jay Mueller coming tonight. Obviously, Kurt, my boy Kurt N119 on Twitter. Kurtz, Kurtz and 119. He's gonna be joining Aldo tomorrow. Stepping up for the Barflies.
Awesome.
Gotta shout out our boy Marlon Harris, really supporting Scar New York. AC, Ben Drisgula, always. I think he's like one of those guys that just crashed the party, hasn't left. Big Ben is in the house. He's not shaving. He's ready to rock and roll till he's keeping his beard growing until Fox is fired.
And Lady loves it. Lady loves that she's going to give him a rose. She's keeping him around on her bachelor program.
That.
So Ben, nice job.
It's not even White Boy Wednesday yet. She's keeping him around.
It sounded like a mercy keeping, but we don't know that for sure.
Dang, don't ruin the chance. There is a chance.
Did you give a shout out to Kurtz? Who's going to be there?
Yeah, that's why Kurtz.
Thank you.
Even spelling his Twitter account.
Excellent.
How about Danny Walker, _Dabaya _P, Air Jer. He sent us some video footage. We didn't get to get into that. I apologize. We've been so busy. But gotta shout you out with your passion. Aldo could talk about your words of wisdom on your videos. The Bears K, Trubisky 2-3 oof, 2 and 3 oof. He's been a big supporter of the Bears Barroom. George the U, Anthony Kuskal has been a big supporter. I gotta say what up to him. Big Papa Don, down in Tennessee. I don't know why, but I thought you were in Chicago. I was trying to get Big Papa to go down there and support. I know he would have.
He could
Albero. Go ahead.
He could have done some blocking because he looks like a big man.
He's ready to play nose. We could back up Eddie Goldman right there.
Awesome. I got to give a shout out to
Michael Pope and Tom O'Malley. Those are my last two for this week.
Excellent. And I want to give a shout out to Ezekiel, Seikel, and that's his Twitter handle as well. Zach has always just said some of the nicest things, and so we have made a connection with this young man. He definitely loves what we're doing. Unfortunately, he lives in Virginia and won't be able to be at the rally tomorrow, but he's going to be in Chicago December 15th through the 31st. Maybe we need to do something around that time for all the barflies who are in town for the holidays and those who have time off from work. Meet at a watering hole if Fox is still around, and if someone is even floating the idea that he's going to be back for the 2018 season, then we definitely have to have a rally with real pitches and torches, real pitchforks and torches. So shout out to Zach. Shayne, you got any shout outs?
Just looking forward to seeing your nipple on that big window at Waddle and Sylvie's tomorrow, Aldo.
Well, I'm taking good care of it. I've been putting cream on it. I'm hoping that it's a nice cold day. That way I can get it protruding at an ample length and really turn on Tom Waddle.
Dustin just texted me, and he said that he would come with ice cubes and get you all ready. Harden them up for you a little bit. Yeah, he's the nipple prepper.
Yeah.
He's got to be good at something. So it might as well be nipple preparation.
Are those considered fluffers too, or?
Yeah, I think Dustin is a fluffer.
I don't want a fluffer, a puffer, or anything like that.
These kids writing rhymes.
Boy, I've run out of shout-outs. I know there's a lot of other people.
You as the old-timer in the lyric, Aldo.
Oh, hey, that's what I am.
But it flowed so well.
Fit perfect, Phil. It's almost like you forgot about your entire song tonight anyway.
Where's the song? Where is the song?
For those of you who missed it, I was like, okay, that's our show, everybody. And Phil says, wait a minute. What happened to my song?
Who did?
Who did? It over.
The record, scratched, wait, what? The whole party.
Oh, my God. All I'm thinking about right now is 190 North State Street. I got to go out there and make sure I don't get arrested, man. Oh.
I just want to see it live. It's got to be, you got to film it with my boy Kurtz. Get out there, film Aldo standing there. Albero, friend of the show, put up the perfect gif of what I thought of too. The movie Say Anything.
Yeah, right.
Where he's outside the girl's house and he's playing what's his name song.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just had it. In your eyes, the light, the heat, your eyes, I am complete. Whatever that. Who's the singer of that song?
John Cusack in the movie Say Anything, but I don't remember the name of the song. I don't.
Oh my God. In Your Eyes it is.
In Your Eyes.
It's a very famous singer. Oh.
Yeah, and a great movie scene. The movie overall not too good, but that scene is unbelievable.
Well,
all right, fellas.
Let's recreate that scene, Mr. Emmy Award winning.
I'm gonna do my best, man, not to look like an idiot. That's my number one concern right now.
Listen, the dumber you look, the better we look. So
Aldo, can you reenact the Chicago Blackhawks Stanley Cup YouTube video to start screaming about John Fox? This fucker's not coming back to Chicago! Yeah!
Yeah! Testing this out for proper modulation.
How many is that?
See, Shayne's doing the mic.
Oh, is that Shayne?
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
That was Phil.
He hit that high pitch. Maybe Shayne's our high pitch Eric.
Who's high pitch?
Who's high pitch?
He got gastric bypass the other day. Did you see that?
Did he? No, you're my only window window to the Stern Show.
Last Friday. Yep, you did.
Hold on, guys. I got that
fat fuck.
I got that clip.
You gotta get.
I got that clip of the Black Hawk thing. Oh, this is gonna be me tomorrow if I get interviewed.
This is
Ladies and
fantastic.
gentlemen.
It's been since 1961 that we had the cup, and now it's coming back to Chicago. Yeah!
The reporter.
I fucking hit that. I hit that perfect.
That was awesome. I love how he went for 4 yes. If you wind it back, he goes, yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Since
Phil, go back
1961 that we had the cup, and now it's coming back to Chicago. Yeah!
1, 2, 3, 4.
I would have done 5, but the guy took the microphone.
It's perfect.
I would have done 5, but the guy took the microphone away. I really, if you ever look at the video, he looks terrified.
Gotta get away from this lunatic.
He really
That movie, that video is iconic and classic. In my life. In my life, it is. I'm serious.
Phil, go watch that. Watch that again tonight. Does Aldo have a little bit of Artie Lang look going on?
He does. He's got this weird Puerto Rican afro.
no.
He's going crazy.
Aldo.
Who's the chick next to you, Aldo?
That's my daughter.
Look at that. No,
that's your daughter?
Yeah, that's my daughter.
No wonder why Lauren Cox is drooling all over his cock and balls.
Yeah, if you get too crazy tomorrow, Aldo, you might want to white it up a little bit so you don't get hauled away.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at his daughter if you put the film up. His daughter's like, he's not with me.
The funny thing is that he interviewed her first, and she was 16 years old at the time, kind of shy and so forth. So I figured I gotta give this guy something good. So he stuck the microphone in my face, and I just let rip.
That was an instant classic, folks, of Bears Barroom. It's what it means.
Step back, honey. Daddy's taking over.
Exactly.
Let me show you how this is done.
She's going to be with me at the Bears game December 16th down in Detroit. So any of you barflies that can make it, let me know. Let Bears Girl know, because really she's been the one that's been organizing that. And we're hoping to get together at halftime or at some point to get a group photo.
I mean, halftime. Can't you guys all meet there and tailgate together?
Well, no, because the Bears Girl is coming from Canada.
All right, their plane gets in at kick. What's that mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
what the fuck is going on?
I see what you're saying. Like meet somewhere and then I'll drive one vehicle to the game. That's not a bad idea. Oh, check into that.
I'm full of good ideas, and then you get a place in the parking lot. Well, I've never been to the shitty town of Detroit.
Oh,
where the stadium is. I've never been to Detroit Stadium, the new one. So do they have a parking lot?
Yeah, it's called Ford Field. Well, it's Ford Field. So what do you think? you think they have buses going to Ford Field? No, they got 50,000 Ford cars going to Ford Field.
There you go. So can we get the barflies together, a tailgate, and I want a video of each of them talking to me and Shayne or whoever about the Bears Barroom Radio. Can you do that?
I can do that. Bears Girl, do that.
I'm gonna
make that happen.
Thank God she's a part of the team. She's handled more business
than I have.
We're getting graphics out on time.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna get editing on this, and I'll do my best tomorrow to bring you some breaking news. Me breaking out of handcuffs and running down the street. Later, fellas. Thanks very much.
Well, that was fun, guys.
That was a great show, Aldo. And please go down and not get arrested. And always bear down.
Bear down.
Great job.
Listen, if these fuckers don't ask you to come in, I mean, do they have any fucking morals football morals.
Morals.
I mean, come on.
Let's let the crazy Puerto Rican banging on our window inside.
Aldo's put out a video advance notice. If you don't have the personality to recognize this is such a great opportunity.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be like a shithole scumbag to be like, nah, we don't want it. It's like the Bears media corpse there.
Well, trust me, they're not going to ignore me. I mean, they're either going to invite me in to talk or they're going to have me arrested. There's only two choices in this matter. There's either going to come a cop and say, disperse, get the hell out of here. And if I got a couple of beers
cops there before you get there.
Oh, man.
You need to film that.
Every second of it.
I want to see these dumbasses try to get out of the Firefox campaign.
Isn't there a mic? Isn't there a mic set up on the outside so they can talk to the people?
Oh, really?
Through the window?
I didn't
I think so.
They're always like, look at this guy wearing a freaking Bobby Douglas jersey. Look at this guy. Oh, this guy's got a Waddle jersey. Let's talk to him.
I did not know that. Frankly, I don't listen to the show.
Yeah, I think so. I think there, at least there used to be. I'm pretty sure they had a mic outside. What is that noise? It sounds like Phil shitting in a toilet. What is that noise?
It's my water jug. Because I'm drinking out of like the metal ones now.
All the way throughout the show, I'm like, is he shitting right now? I didn't know what was going on.
No, it's like, because it comes to like a little pointed end. So you have to like drain and drip it down into your mouth.
Oh,
I'm gonna go down here.
Let's
gonna take this.
let's get out of this vortex right now.
Nutella.
Where'd you buy it
Vortex
at?
of Nutella.
Where'd you buy it at? The 2016 Fetish leather?
If I told you the store,
no.
It's gonna be even worse. It's called BJ's.
Oh.
Of course.
BJ's Warehouse.
BJ's Warehouse is exactly where I got it. The Sub-Zero.
Right next to
rubberized stainless steel water jug.
Right next to the Maryland Chambers synthetic vaginas. Real quick story. A real quick story. I got into a Twitter fight once with Tom Waddle. It was during the NHL and NBA playoffs, and he was clearly watching the Cleveland Cavaliers play and then switching back to the Hawks game because he was tweeting about both things. And well, he sent out this tweet that Corey Crawford, the Blackhawks goalie, was having a miserable game, and he really wasn't. There was the defense in front of him that was allowing goals and making Crawford look bad. And so I let him know, that, hey, if you weren't dividing your attention, you would know that Crawford really is having a sensational game. And then so he fired back, I fired back. We went at it for about 20 minutes. And I had a few pops in me. It was, a Friday or Saturday night. And he's starting to get annoyed. And I'm just having more and more fun with this guy. And so finally it stops, and then about 15 minutes later, I just decided to start in again. And then he tweets back, "What are you, 10 years old?" And I figured, maybe I should stop.
Did you say, "Tom, can I call you?"
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, fellas. I'm going to get out of here.
Let's talk it out. All right, brother. Great show. That was fun.
Yeah, good luck tomorrow, big guy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Good luck, big guy. Be safe.
I'm going to make you guys proud.
Wear pants.
Don't let a moment go untaped. If you have to buy a selfie stick in the morning, get it.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't think about that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, rent a drone. Get a drone. Get some drone footage.
Somebody said that on Twitter too.
Yeah, it was Bear's girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I really want this video because this will be epic. Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What did I get myself into? All right, fellas. Later on.
Later, boys.
All right, guys.
Fuck Jan Fox.